Hello, everybody. Welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all doing great. Hope you're all doing fantastic. Hope you're all remembering to save money, savings account. Also, don't forget to invest. These things are very important because there are 8 billion other people who are not doing this. Very big thank you to everyone who leaves a like on the video. Very big thank you to everyone who leaves a comment as well. And without any further ado, let us jump right into it. Yeah, a lot of money continues to flow towards the cryptocurrency space. We are in a very weird current position within the market. People are, as you've been hearing for the better half of this year, are expecting prices to go higher, and I mean like much higher. So we are now squished between companies trying to launch ETFs, companies launching cryptocurrency treasuries of some sort, squished between a number of analysts who are screaming louder than ever for a $250,000 Bitcoin, a $500,000 Bitcoin, a $1 million Bitcoin, all while we are also beginning to see more favor being shown to a number of altcoins. If you haven't been paying attention or simply haven't been here, a lot of the ETF filings that we are seeing regard a number of altcoins. I explained before years ago. I think at some point the market would begin to solidify in the direction of a certain number of coins. I do not think we are going to exist in a world relatively soon where people are even thinking of saying that we have 10,000 plus coins out there that need to be paid attention to. I think we're going to have between like 7 to 10 coins. That seems relatively believable, especially with a lot of the news that we have been receiving this year. In very popular news, this could have, we could have seen this coming from a mile away because this is what the other companies are and have been doing. According to a Reuters report, global asset management firm, they're called Rowe Price, with $1.7 trillion, that's insane, $1.7 trillion in assets under management, is seeking regulatory approval to launch its first actively managed crypto ETF linked to multiple tokens. We saw a few, and I mean a small few, of these trying to launch over the course of 2025. Many of them were for singular coins. I think Grayscale had their multi-coin trust that they were trying to convert. There was some other company, I think they filed for, it was like an Ether XRP one, and then there was another light multi-coin one as well, but we have yet to see a large institution like this trying to launch a multi-coin ETF, marking the firm's initial entry into the cryptocurrency market space. Brian Armour, that's a superhero name, an exchange-traded fund analyst at Morningstar, commented on the development, stating, "It's a surprise to see them as a relatively late entrant, but they're planning to offer something differentiated to try and break into the space." This follows as well the SEC announcing a couple of month and a half, somewhere around there, new rules for being able to list a cryptocurrency ETF. No longer, so the SEC says, I want to see how this plays out. No longer, so the SEC says, will companies have to wait half a year to have their filing even looked at. Apparently, if the coins that the ETF is trying to track or follow or buy already have some kind of a futures product under their name that has existed for longer than 6 months. The SEC says those coins are basically a shoo-in for the ETF. That's why we saw a lot of extra filings in the last month or so. Let's see if they actually end up going through. While many asset managers have inundated the SEC with applications for ETFs tied to individual currencies like Solana, XRP, and Dogecoin, among the most anticipated proposals for new multi-coin products that are actively managed remain uncommon. I searched around, and this is weird. Most websites had news that Rowe Price is trying to launch a multi-cryptocurrency thing, and I didn't find which coins. A lot of them did mention in the articles Solana, XRP, and Dogecoin, and I am going to assume that those are meant to be the coins inside of this ETF, because otherwise it just wouldn't make a lot of sense. I assume that the 3 coins for Rowe Price, Solana, XRP, and Dogecoin inside of the same fund, which is highly differentiated because there's always a Bitcoin and an Ether somewhere inside of the funds. Rowe Price has been closely monitoring development in the digital asset space and has developed the capacity to trade digital assets in recent years, Reuters has highlighted. And then they talk about being in the space since around 2022, but we could have all guessed that because they are always in the space for a couple of years. Yeah, it's going to be a very fascinating, if I can be completely honest with you, next couple of weeks. A lot of the applications that were filed after the SEC gave the new rule would or should logically be able to activate immediately if that's how the ruling actually works. The idea of the cryptocurrency markets bull market moving higher over the course of the next few months is also like, if you haven't been on Twitter by any chance, I mean, in the last 2 months, it is like all that people are talking about. Everyone's chart, everyone's line, everyone shows this thing going up. That number's doing this. Bitcoin's moving up on that date. This is so-and-so. Altcoins, there's like a popular thing circulating where it shows like the altcoin market cap is like somewhere near $1 trillion. And by the time we get to the end of December, it's like 4.7 trillion. And they're expecting altcoins, because they have a lower market cap to Bitcoin, to 10, 15, 20. I mean, it's really. So the anticipation, the hype is all very strong. It's all very dense in the air, if you will. We are getting a lot of like altcoinish kinds of things floating around. I don't think that conviction in Bitcoin has slowed down by any means. I think we're just now seeing a lot of other companies, as we have been, just throwing darts at certain altcoins. And like I said, I between 7 to 10 coins, and they keep reappearing over and over and over and over in the news. The main ones that we constantly keep hearing about, to a lesser or higher degree: Ethereum, Solana, Binance Coin, XRP, Dogecoin, sometimes Cardano. What are the other ones I'm missing? There's like 1 or 2 other ones that like always keep popping up in like a rotation. So we will see. That's the company trying to launch a multi-coin ETF. They're probably going to get it. You usually don't file something like this unless you're kind of assured that it's going to happen. You wouldn't waste your time otherwise. Okie dokie. Let's move on. Following the yield news, I told you previously, and this will continue happening in the future, the idea of yield for crypto coins that do not generate a yield is becoming more intense. Flare Network launched years ago under the promise or the premise of passive income for people holding XRP. Basically, as far as I understand it, you would stake your XRP or you would put it into a protocol and you would make passive income from it. You realize that these things are, as I said, they're launching now, they're being completed now, people are testing them now, money's being thrown at them now. And this is because of the wave of institutions who are getting into the cryptocurrency space nearly solely with this idea of being able to not only accumulate a coin and watching its price do a 10x. That's not enough for them. These institutions, they want to be able to stake their coins and make some kind of passive income from it. We've heard it like 16 times for Bitcoin, and the XRP one also floats to the surface every now and again as well. Flare co-founder, his name is Hugo Filion, has updated the community on the surging demand for Flare XRP, revealing that $43 million worth of XRP has been bridged onto the network. We're going to start getting a lot of news like this. The people love, I think, both ways. I think the people in the crypto, like crypto investors, love it, and also the companies love to release these numbers. We have $100 million worth of Ether being staked. We have $900 million worth of, like, it's like to show like how much total value locked is in your actual chain. The more money you have locked in your chain, the more basically valuable your network actually becomes. You're then able to show other companies, yes, over the course of this year, we now have $22 billion locked into our network. And that is like it's a big signal of trust from the outside and inside for these companies to go, okay, we will use your network as well to be able to stake our coins. The development comes barely 2 weeks after Flare launched their Flare Assets project, granting XRP holders access to yield-bearing opportunities. Has anyone seen what the actual numbers are? I sometimes I look around for like what the yield actually is for these projects, and a lot of times I just kind of find varying numbers or people saying, no, like it gives yield, and I'm like, yes, but how much? It's kind of like years ago when it was Cardano, Tron, and some other chain, but I remember Cardano in this instance, announcing that they could do more transactions per second than any other coin out there. And I remember Googling like, hey, how many transactions per second for Cardano? And every argument was like, well, they're batching transactions. And it's like, okay, well, what's the maximum number of transactions that can be batched together in a box, and how many of them are being sent per second? I never still got that number. Everyone loves to talk about batch transactioning, and it's like, okay, that's wonderful, but mathematically you can still add those numbers up and tell me how many transactions per second. So for a lot of newer yield projects, I'm getting that a yield can be achieved, but I'm not getting an actual number. And realistically, anything above 2.5% or 3%, like I said, kind of matches strong dividends, not, flaky companies. So anything around those numbers, I think, will be quite spectacular. I do expect, as I said before, I think a lot of these things will take off when major crypto exchanges begin to offer this as a service. I think Coinbase and all of them, they offer staking Ethereum already. I think they must offer staking Cardano and the like. But when these crypto exchanges literally announce, hey, you can stake your Bitcoin with us and you can receive 2.3%, everyone will go to them. It's because they're more legally recognized, I don't want to say stable custodians, but you understand that like they're more well known, and a lot of people still have this thing about doing things themselves, staking it themselves, trying to implement yada, yada, yada themselves as well. I don't remember, and I assume it's relatively new, so maybe it needs some time. I do not remember anything about any crypto exchange offering like XRP yield yet. Off the top of my head, I mean, it's not like I'm checking crypto exchanges every 24 hours to see if they are, but I don't remember any off the back yeah. Since its launch, the project has seen widespread demand, with Phillion confirming that the total value of XRP bridged onto its network has reached 43 million US dollars. Notably, the bridged XRP was used to mint Flare XRP, a wrapped version of XRP on the Flare blockchain. Through this process, okay, there we go. Users can participate in DeFi. There we go. That makes sense. Such as lending without having to sell their tokens. It makes sense because DeFi's rates they're variable. So you can launch you can wrap your coins, you can wrap up your Bitcoin, you can wrap up many other coins and put them onto another chain. It just depends on which DeFi protocol you are choosing to use. Some offer 1.7%, some offer 16%. That ends up, yeah, okay, that makes a lot of sense, I guess, in that notion. So yeah, we will probably more than likely end up getting more news like this as well. This is kind of the name of the game now. The idea, I mean, in investing in general, yield is it. You buy a stock that has, passive income for you. You buy a home as an investment because it will make you, a yield. Someone's living inside of it. They're paying you rent. You're getting money for the place that you purchased. So, I mean, it's good. I see nothing actually wrong with this. It's completely against the original idea of cryptocurrencies as a whole. But I think there was kind of no escape from this yield bus, if you will. So yeah, the future looks very bright, as I've said a multitude of times, for people holding these coins, just simply because in the future, and I mean, it won't even have to, you won't have to choose which DeFi protocol yourself. In the future, these things will be automatic. You'll be able to simply place it onto an exchange or onto a self-custody wallet and click stake. It'll ask you like your risk tolerance level. Do you want 3% return or do you want 16%? 16's kind of shaky, but you can click it and you'll just make money. And the winning part ends up being, if you purchase these coins earlier, you end up making out like a bandit because you have more coins than other people because you've been accumulating for longer. Yeah, everyone. I think that's going to do it for this video. Very interesting times ahead. Fingers and toes are crossed. Everything seems lined up, if you will. It's just a matter of seeing everything actually take shape. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and supporting. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.